Welcome to the project. Tonight, how school bullying has gone high-tech with a whole new kind of torment, and not even the teachers are safe.
Also, Aussie farmers battling some of the worst conditions in decades. So what's the future hold with no end in sight?
Plus, mentalists. Scott Silven's here to blow your mind. This has to be seen to be believed. Even then, you won't believe it.
What? I'm so excited. Also, the epic tribute to a football superstar that's ended in disaster. Tony, this means they might have found your tasteful, intimate sketches of the Brisbane Broncos.
Oh, I hope so. I miss them.
Oh, the nation hopes as well.
I don't think anyone hopes. Anyway, we are live from the lands of the cooler nation, the whole gang.
Yay!
The coolest gang there ever was.
Coming up, someone who parks even worse than Georgie Tunney.
That's true.
But let's get to our top story now. And from creating videos of their classmates kissing to digitally undressing them using just a single photo, teenagers are using artificial intelligence to target not just their peers, but their teachers. So how do we beat the rise of AI-driven bullying and abuse in our classrooms?
Still dreaming about kissing your crush? Download Filter AI, upload your photos, and watch your fantasy come to life.
That's an ad on TikTok promoting an AI kissing app.
Make your dream real. Download today.
Users upload real photos of real people, the images converted into a video of them kissing using AI. With thousands of ads flooding Instagram and TikTok, the apps are being downloaded by teens.
These apps are exploding. The kissing apps is just another iteration of this kind of abuse that we're seeing everywhere.
AI kissing apps are just the latest trend in the rise of free, easy-to-use AI-powered tools, similar in concept to AI nudify apps.
Nudify apps are emerging around the world, and essentially they're apps that allow people to upload an image of an individual and it will churn out a non-consensual nude image of that person.
Female students and female teachers, regular targets, with male students almost exclusively the perpetrators. Two schools in Victoria recently caught up in fake nude scandals.
Photos of girls attending the Gladstone Park Secondary College formal sexually altered using AI and released online.
Up to 50 girls in years 9 to 12, the latest victims of AI-generated fake nudes.
Last month, male students from a Sydney private school caught selling explicit deep fake images of their female classmates in online group chats for less than $5.
The impact on victims can be lifelong. This has had serious consequences for me in my life. It does impact your reputation, your mental health, your employability, your future earning capacity.
A new report by Our Watch finding the production of deepfakes is fueling sextortion, blackmail and stalking. While it's a crime to share deepfake content, it's not a crime to create it.
AI-generated apps, they're becoming more accessible, more customisable, more profitable, and more people are being targeted at now at younger ages. And I'm very, very worried about how bad this could get.
Melinda Tankard-Reist co-authored a report into the sexual harassment of teachers, and she's with us now. Melinda, some deepfakes are pretty easy to spot, so just how convincing are these apps?
Well, the word deepfake disguises the fact that these are real images of real girls, real female teachers that are being morphed into explicit deepfakes. I've met girls this has happened to. They're deeply traumatised. They didn't give consent. We found 127 nudifying and undressing apps for as little as $2 that will scrape the image of any woman, any girl from social media, from school photos, and morph those images into porn. So boys have become self-appointed porn producers, and the problem's getting worse.
What effect does this have on children?
It has a profound effect on them because it's really a form of identity theft. It's invasion of privacy that a child's image has been used in an explicit way, a sexual way. They're becoming more realistic. The images are being shared. I've been told stories of boys selling images to boys in other schools. So every woman and every girl is at risk of being turned into a synthetic sexual forgery using their real images. We know how hard it is to get these images back. They will lose control over them, and it's causing terror and trauma for women and girls.
And they'll only get better. So the situation will only get worse, you would think. We can't accuse the government of not thinking about this or addressing it. They did introduce new laws to stop the sharing of deepfake content. That was backed with jail terms up to 7 years, at least on the books. Is it just impossible to stop this stuff?
Yes. Well, we certainly supported that legislation. There's a gap in the legislation in that creation alone, we believe, should be a standalone offence. There's offence there in the creation, whether it is disseminated online or not. We are calling for member states of the United Nations to ban these apps globally. We've already consulted at the UN level on this. We're also targeting the credit card companies and payment gateways like MasterCard, Visa, PayPal, which not only facilitate the sale of these apps, but profit from them. And surely any corporate that cares about corporate social responsibility should have nothing to do with facilitating the weaponisation of these AI tools against women and girls. This is accelerating violence against women and girls around the world, and we need to stop it.
That would be a full court press. It'd be amazing to see if that can happen. Melinda, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for your interest.
OK, let's get some more news now. And for the first time, accused triple murderer Erin Patterson has given her account of the fatal lunch which claimed the lives of 3 of her relatives. She's testified about changes she made to the recipe, what plates were used and how much her guests ate. Ms Patterson testified that after her guests went home, she binged on leftover orange cake, then threw up what she'd eaten that day. And the 50-year-old admitted she later threw out the food dehydrator, fearing she'd be blamed for poisoning her guests. Ms Patterson has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
A fencing contractor is lucky to be alive after an apparent tornado hit the farm in WA's southwest where he was working yesterday. Darcy Clode suffered minor injuries when the twister touched down, flipping his ute, smashing a tractor and shredding a heap of trees.
Wow.
Darcy was blown off his feet and into a fence. He says something that wasn't on his bucket list.
Well, natural instinct, isn't it? Get to the ground, cover your head, stop yourself getting any major injuries, but wasn't really much you could do with that much force. You're up against the fence and held there, so the fence might have been a good thing, might have stopped me going further.
Oh, that's incredible.
Holy hell. Guys, it must be my birthday because you're not going to believe this. I've got a headline.
What?
I know. Thank you. It's not today, but anyway. Now, Sydney dog owners could face increased fines and mandatory training if they fail to keep their little furry mates in line. Ooh. Sydney has a dirty dog problem, with multiple councils like Waverley and Randwick reporting a troubling decline in pet etiquette, or petiquette.
In the last 20 years, we've seen the number of dog attacks absolutely explode.
With increased rates of dogs yelling at children, bullying other animals, excessive pooping and streaking at sporting events. OK, that last one actually sounds kind of fun, so maybe let the dogs cook. Anyway, so far they've ignored my suggestions to bring in Cesar Millan to broker a peace deal. Today, fed-up councils are proposing their own solutions, like significantly upping the $330 fine for off-leash behaviour.
We're calling for stronger penalties and a sliding scale of fines so that we can address the small end of dog attacks up to the really serious and quite scary.
While some pet owners reckon there's other solutions.
Most people, it's not a problem. 90% of people love their dogs, but you do have that 10% factor who are just not responsible. We really should have more fenced-in dog parks so that people can go and let their dogs run around.
As councils lay down the law, owners could be forced into a tough choice: total submission or moving to other dog-friendly states where streaking is encouraged. Thank God we blurred it, guys. Yeah, that was...
Do they want the dogs to wear clothes?
I think that's what we want to put them all in little cute shirts, maybe with a funny slogan.
Oh, I'm down for that.
Yeah, and then it's problem solved, I guess. I kind of, obviously, people got to pick up their poo and their dogs as well, am I right?
Yeah.
But I also don't want to listen. I don't want to live in a world where you can't just have your dog off a leash.
You can just pick up the poo. I just don't understand why this would be controversial.
Oh, okay. Well,
you don't want to hold a hot turd in a bag. That's why.
Yeah, okay.
Some people do.
I think you should.
No, but
I think you should.
But if you're bringing a hot turd machine, you've got to deal with it. You can't just... It's not... It's simple.
I've never heard a dog described as that before, and that should be the new dictionary
The dog must be
definition.
furious at its name.
Sometimes you just got to see through to the essence of things.
Yeah.
That's what that's about. All right, we're off to a break. We'll see you soon.
Visceral.
Okay. Welcome back. Welcome to the project.
It was a bromance for the ages, but did Elon Musk just open a rift that even Donald Trump can't repair?
It's no secret Elon Musk isn't a fan of Donald Trump's big, beautiful tax cuts and spending bill. But now he's departed Doge, Musk has let rip on X, publicly describing the president's bill as an outrageous, pork-filled, disgusting abomination. He also tweeted that the bill would massively increase the budget deficit to $2.5 trillion US, burdening Americans with crushing, unsustainable debt. The Democrats were on board.
He's right. We're in complete agreement. The GOP tax scam is a disgusting abomination.
As Republicans and the White House simply brushed Elon's criticism aside.
We elected a president. We didn't elect Elon Musk.
Look, the president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it.
Now, man, stateside Steve Clemens is here to discuss the anatomy of this breakup. Steve, to be fair, the seams have been showing for a little bit, but Musk has gone nuclear with this form of words. How do you reckon Donald Trump will respond?
Well, I don't think he's exactly going to be very happy about it. But Donald Trump has a problem, is that Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world, and he has power too. So Donald Trump wants to clobber Musk, but if he did that, he might lose Senate votes on his big, beautiful bill. So he's angry, deep down, volcanic, but can't do much about it just yet.
Why would Musk do this, Steve?
Well, look, I think the generous explanation is that he's a true believer in cutting spending and cutting budget. But word is that he's pretty upset that his guy that was going to be head of NASA was kind of kicked off the roster as the final act of Elon Musk leaving. He also didn't get, his Skynet running air traffic control. He also saw some of the benefits for those that were buying EVs, electric vehicles, being taken away from his, Tesla sales. And so there were a lot of things that he thought he had earned that the Trump administration was rolling back. And I think it ticked him off.
Musk isn't just wealthy. He has control of a huge, let's call it, communication platform. Is there a way you think he might mobilise this that would make life difficult for Donald Trump?
Clearly, and he already is.
Right.
He's threatening any person who votes for this bill, which he had called, absolutely, disgusting abomination. And that if they vote for it, he's coming after them in the next election. So that's very different. You've got the most powerful man in the world, Donald Trump, with the richest man in the world threatening those people Donald Trump is trying to get to vote for this bill. So this is really combustible, interesting stuff. We could all sell tickets.
Steve, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys, let's stay overseas right now. And a convenience store in Thailand was robbed this week. There's crime everywhere. It's crazy. This master criminal getting away almost undetected, but, we might have picked him up. See if you can see him on CCTV.
Okay.
Do you guys see?
I mean, that is good camouflage.
Yeah.
That is remarkable.
Well, look, lucky he didn't wear a disguise on his face, so they'll be able to identify him, thank God. And then, forgot a pastry. Yeah. Yep, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that police are appealing for anyone that might know who it is or any lead at all? So, fingers crossed they get that elephant.
As long as they picked up the poo, I'm fine with it. All right.
Need a big bag for that.
turn.
You're watching the project. We'll see you soon. This is the project.
Well, an epic tribute to Lionel Messi has ended in a very messy situation for a Victorian GPS artist. Peter Mitchell had parked his Yaris on a beach near Wilson's Promontory while he ran 15 Ks to sketch the footballer like that. But he returned to his car and found it been swallowed by an unusually high king tide. Incredibly, he was able to drive it off the beach the next day, making it all the way home, 155 Ks away. The GPS artist, Peter Mitchell, is with us now. Peter, we will get to the soggy Yaris in a second, mate, but that Messi thing is a masterpiece. What goes into that?
Yeah, there's a fair bit of work involved. So, yeah, a lot of design and a lot of execution on foot and following the GPS track.
It's unbelievable. It took quite a while for you to do it, but you know, you kind of kicked your own goal. You ended up, when you came back with your car, underwater. How did you react when you saw your Yaris had been swallowed up?
Oh, it was crazy when I was coming back, because when I ran out there, I just ran down the side of the beach, and then when I was coming back, there was no beach, and I'm like, this could be a bit of a problem. And I was hugging the coastline, and then couldn't even get around there, and I was trying to go through trees, and I ended up having to walk about 500 or a kilometre through the water, and I knew it was coming up, and I thought, this is not going to be pretty, and I come around the corner and I'm like, oh no, we've got a problem here.
What were the plans that were kind of running through your head about how you could maybe get the car out of there?
Yeah, I was a bit stressed. I was just thinking, how am I going to get back to the Mornington Peninsula, because it's about a 3-hour drive, and then obviously I've got to get off the beach.
Yeah.
So then I sort of got out of the water, and I was looking at my car, and then I checked the tide to see if it had peaked, and yeah, sure enough, it was coming back down, and then I'm sort of waiting for it to get down a bit before I open the doors, because I thought it would just make more water flood in, and then in the end I talked to friends, and it's like, well, I've got to get out of there soon because it's starting to get cold and almost dark, and opened it up, and sure enough, the whole thing was covered in water and everything was wet, and I had all my diabetes stuff in there, and it was quite stressful, and then I still had to get about another 400 metres across to the other side to get off the beach, so it was pretty full on.
God, Pete, it's a stressful situation now. Look, I'm a big car guy. Everyone knows that about me. The Yaris, submerging a car is not good for the car. So we might need to get you a good car. You've set up a GoFundMe. Has the main man, Messi, been in touch? Is he going to give you a car?
Well, I'm hopeful, but no, it's only early days. We'll see how it goes. I haven't heard from him yet.
I think it equates to about 3.6 seconds of his salary.
Yeah, so surely.
He could dip into the pocket.
Put the plea out there.
It wouldn't even be that. Maybe Toyota can give me a decent trade-in.
Okay, I like it.
Well, you might want to change the backstory of the car, I reckon.
That's probably right. Hey, Peter, all the best with the car and with the smell, frankly. I can't imagine it's great. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Peter. Fantastic. Let's go quickly to Adelaide this morning. Premier Peter Malinauskas, he launched the Australian series. This is a premiere of the new season of Punk'd.
Oh, wow.
Mate, have you seen this?
Yeah, look at him. He's happy too. Hey, he then pulled out the cop's gun, shot it in the air, pepper sprayed the cameraman. It's good, clean fun.
Oh, he's cute and funny. You're watching the project. We'll see you soon.
Watching the project.
Accused mushroom murderer Erin Patterson became emotional in the witness box today, wiping away tears as she gave her account of what happened at the fatal lunch and why she faked her cancer diagnosis.
More queues outside court today as people flocked to hear Erin Patterson reveal further details about the deadly mushroom lunch, including revelations about why she made her guests individual Beef Wellingtons.
I couldn't find, the big log that the recipe called for, so I had to use individual steaks.
Patterson appearing emotional as she told the court she may have accidentally added foraged mushrooms to the meal.
I decided to put in the dried mushrooms that I'd bought from the grocer that I still had in the pantry. Now I think that there was a possibility that there were foraged ones in there as well.
Admitting she was aware that there were death cap mushrooms growing locally, but didn't forage them.
Did you ever forage for mushrooms in Lock?
No.
Did you ever forage for mushrooms in Outram?
No.
Patterson became worried she'd be blamed for the poisoning following questions from her estranged husband Simon. Questions he testified he never asked.
He said to me, "Is that how you poisoned my parents, using that dehydrator?" I said, "Of course not."
Telling the court she then decided to dispose of the dehydrator.
I took the dehydrator to the tip. I thought there might be evidence of that, evidence of any foraged mushrooms in there.
Patterson also explaining why she carried out a factory reset of one of her phones after it was seized by police. Erin Patterson has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Erin Patterson is the Age's crime and justice reporter. She was in the court in Morwell once again today. Erin, let's start with that factory reset of Erin's phone. What is going on there?
We had over 5 hours of evidence today from Erin Patterson in her third day in the witness box, and there was a lot of questions about the electronic devices that she owned in 2023. And as you mentioned, there was one in particular that the jury have heard was factory reset a number of times, and those were the questions that were put to Erin Patterson today. She said a couple of those factory resets were things that she'd done herself. She maintained that her phone was damaged and she wanted to change it over around the time of the lunch or soon after, and she started to do that. But around the time of the lunch, she told the jury, yes, she did factory reset the phone that she used. She said this was because she feared that police might uncover a Google email account that had photographs in it. And those photographs, she told the jury, were of mushrooms dehydrating at her property. And she didn't want the police to be able to find those. So that was the first factory reset that she said that she did. After police seized that phone from her property, that evening she said she jumped onto the Find My Phone application to see where her devices were, and she wondered if the police would be silly enough to have left the one that they took from her house connected. So she clicked on it and was able to factory reset it again. She said that was silly of her to do so, but it is something she's admitted to doing.
A lot of ground was covered today, Erin. We also heard that Erin Patterson vomited shortly after the deadly lunch. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, a lot of the questioning as well today was surrounding the lunch itself. This is the reason why she's here and why everybody is here to hear her evidence, essentially. And we were told that she planned this lunch because she enjoyed spending time with her in-laws. And after eating the meal and cooking the meal and everybody had left, she explained that there was an orange cake that had been left behind by one of her lunch guests. About 3/4 of it, she estimated, was left over. And she said she had a slice, and then she had another slice and another slice until the entire cake was gone. It was then she started to feel a little bit unwell, a bit full, like she'd eaten too much, and she went and vomited up what she'd eaten that day. This was amid what she was explaining was a battle that she was having with her self-esteem, her eating habits and alike. But yeah, that was her evidence in terms of what happened shortly after the lunch.
She also spoke about why she lied about her cancer diagnosis. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, her health history again came up in evidence, and she was explaining that in the lead up to the lunch there'd been these text messages between her and her in-laws. Gail Patterson in particular had been querying what was happening with some medical appointments Erin Patterson had shared was happening. Now, she's admitted now that those medical appointments actually didn't happen, but she maintained that she was sitting at the table, the kitchen table, at her property after the lunch when she raised with the guests that she had cancer. She said that at that moment she had really enjoyed the support that she'd been feeling from the family when she'd raised medical issues with them in the past, and continued that lie because she wanted to conceal what she said was upcoming planned weight loss surgery, something that she had an appointment for in September 2023.
Erin, I'm going to put this as delicately as I can because Erin Patterson spoke of defecating in a bush after the lunch. Just how did that come up?
We've heard a lot of evidence today about Erin Patterson's bowel movements in the days, weeks, hours after the lunch. One of those occasions she explained to the jury was the day after the lunch. She jumped in her car, she was taking her son to a flying lesson, and she'd taken some tablets that she hoped would stop her needing to go to the bathroom. But while driving there, she recalled a stop on the side of the road where she jumped behind a bush and had to relieve herself. The reason this came up in questioning today, again, was she explained that she used tissues to clean herself up, put them in a doggy poo bag, popped them in her purse. And it was a next stop at a BP in Caldermead, which was captured on CCTV, where she says she ducked into the bathroom and popped them in the bin before jumping back in the car and continuing on with her journey.
We might leave it there, Erin. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, let's get some more news now. And it's not the report card Treasurer Jim Chalmers was hoping for. Australia's economy has hardly grown this year. GDP expanding just 0.2% in the March quarter. The weaker than expected figures, partly the result of natural disasters and lower government spending. But the result has increased the odds of another interest rate cut next month.
With all of the uncertainty in the world, any growth is a decent outcome.
There's been a breakthrough in the investigation into the disappearance of Queensland teenager Phoebe Bishop. Her 34-year-old housemate, James Wood, is in custody tonight. He's assisting detectives with their inquiries. No charges have been laid. 17-year-old Phoebe hasn't been seen since May the 15th, the day she was meant to fly from Bundaberg to WA. Now, the southern states of the country are battling some of the worst drought conditions in decades as the land keeps getting drier. Our farmers' resilience is being tested.
In my entire life of farming, I've never seen it this bad. Here in South Australia, I've never seen it so dry, so barren. All farmers are struggling for fodder for the sheep, trying to keep the sheep alive.
I think this is a natural disaster. It's no different to the floods in Queensland and New South Wales.
Two farmers 800 kilometres apart, both struggling with the worst drought in years. The most affected areas include Western Victoria and parts of South Australia. Both regions pride themselves on dairy and livestock production, both regions desperate for rain.
Back in 23-24, we had 4 inches of rain for our growing period and a bit over 4 inches of rain right when we're harvesting, which was not much use to anyone. All the paddocks are dead, the grass is dead, so there's no value to it.
Leon Hams is 58 years old and he's been farming sheep and cereal grain for more than 40 years.
Things I love about farming is just watching things grow and producing a prime product or reaping your best crop you ever have.
But the last few years have been terrible. To put it bluntly,
I'm going to have virtually a nil income this year, the same as last year, because 23 wasn't real flash to us either.
The drought has brought with it a severe shortage of food.
If we can't have enough fodder to keep our breeding stock alive, it means that we'll have to end up selling our breeding stock off. But seeing something that you put your heart and soul in breeding and to sell that before it's time, before it's ready to go, is sort of very heartbreaking.
To add insult to injury, last week large dust storms blew through farms in the district.
I've never seen a dust storm last so long and so fierce as that was. For me, it was probably the fact that it blew whatever fodder was there or grass that was there, it just swept the whole place bare.
And Leon's critical of the help that's been offered.
The government has just announced another $36 million drought relief. I don't personally think it's enough. $36 million between South Australia and Victoria is like an ice block in a cup of hot tea. It goes nowhere. The government can, give Whyalla Steelworks $2.4 billion, but there's 12,000 farmers in South Australia. That's a big number, a lot more than Whyalla Steelworks. Now, I'm not even talking about Victoria yet.
Across the border, the sentiment is similar.
The government employees seem to think that let's just hope it rains, and it's almost like they want it to go away so that they don't have to do the work.
Bernie Free is the president of the United Dairy Farmers of Victoria. His family's been working the land for 2 generations.
When I talk to dairy farmers, there is anger out there, there's frustration, and there's really despair in some of them because they don't see the government stepping up and they don't have any answers to their problem of feeding their animals. This is the hay that came in the other day, and that's about 10 days worth, so we'll need to look at getting some more. It's been terrible for 2.5 years, and the last 6 months it's just got even worse. To find hay in Western Victoria is nearly impossible. The amount of fibre which is in hay that dairy cows and other cattle need every day to survive is quite large. We can supplement some of that with grain and those sort of products, but we cannot substitute all of it. In 35 years, I've never seen a situation like this.
To put it into perspective, the daily diet of a dairy cow consists of up to 20 kilograms of dry food high in fibre, of which 50% should be hay. They consume anywhere from 80 to 150 litres of water, but this can be as high as 250 litres in hotter months. Most dairy farmers have hundreds of cows.
The logistics of doing this is extremely hard on the farmer, but then we're also putting a lot of pressure on other people because they know how important it is to us to get water and to get feed to them.
Like their South Australian neighbours, the pressures of trying to feed and water their animals has led many farmers to have to make tough decisions.
If you don't think they're going to last 12 months, they've got to go. And now we're into this time of the year where I've heard of people that have spring calving cows, they're just drying them off and sending them straight to the abattoir. And that's a major impact on their income, which then has a major impact on the community.
Without a workable solution, the future of these regions looks bleak.
Farmers really do have a connection to their community that they work in. We need those people to survive so that we've got a rural store and a bakery and all of those things that city people take for granted.
If it doesn't rain, the next 6 months, I'm not sure where I'm going to be, but it gives me a horrible feeling in my stomach, about having to sell my farm and, not hand it down to the next generation. If you're forced to sell, you're forced to sell. You've got no choice in it.
And Bernie and Leon have summed that up so succinctly there. Farmers need more support. They are in desperate need of it right now because you can't just think, oh, no, as soon as it starts raining, it's going to be okay, because sometimes it starts raining, it doesn't stop raining. And then any feed that you were able to store gets washed away, which is what happened with the floods recently in New South Wales. We were crossing to farmers in Taree. And they're just there at their head in their hands being like, what next? Then a dust storm comes through. I mean, they just keep getting belted and belted and belted.
Like tough job only getting tougher.
Yes.
And it must be, like, as you watch that footage, it must be so hard for people living in other parts of the country where it is the floods, where it's just constant rain to even imagine. But this is a big deal for the whole country. Like, Victoria's a tiny state. It's 3%, I think, of the landmass. It produces more than 30% of our food. So the consequences...
Everyone.
Totally.
All right, there's more project on the way. Stick around. This is The Project.
A parent will do anything for their child, but when that child has a syndrome so complex that it doesn't even have a name, anything still isn't enough.
Her giggle, her cheekiness and her smile, it's beautiful. They're the moments you want to capture. They're the moments you want to bottle up.
For Mum Sarah, every second with her daughter Hannah is precious.
You got to hold on because she's a funny girl, but it's those beautiful giggles that you hold so closely and so dearly.
Because life for her 4-year-old Hannah is a constant struggle.
You can't chase her around the house. You can't ride bikes together. Those things aren't in Hannah's world.
Diagnosed with a complex genetic disorder, a condition so unique that it is known as a syndrome without a name, or Swan syndrome, and it has left Hannah with severe needs.
She cannot speak or communicate. She does not walk, crawl. She can't sit unassisted at all. She has vision impairment. Hearing is impaired as well.
Requiring an extensive medical team of physios, occupational therapists, speech pathologists, dietitians, vision therapists, specialists in ENT, orthopaedics and cardiology. But Hannah's most important carer, by her side 24 hours a day, is her mum.
It's hoisting her into her high-low chair, transferring her out into the lounge room, dressing her, doing her peg feeds and her medication. My husband doesn't know who is going to be home when he walks in the house. It may be a support worker, it may be our physio, it may be just me, and it's like, okay, it's just us.
And while Sarah showers Hannah in love and attention, Dad Kevin works full-time and overtime to keep the family afloat. But Hannah is growing, and that means her needs are growing too.
She's getting to be very, very heavy. Unfortunately, you have to bite your lip and push through the pain.
And it's the pain of something so basic, which is causing such a problem for Hannah's health needs and freedom. Simply getting into and out of a car.
Having a wheelchair accessible car will change her day-to-day living immensely. You don't have to worry about taxis cancelling. You don't have to worry about rushing her to hospital, to ED. So the reliability will be in our hands. We are the parents. That's our job.
And with a wheelchair accessible vehicle, young Hannah would have the freedom for a whole lot more adventures.
If we can take her down the park, she can just look around and watch her sister play. If we can take her to an accessible beach, I would love to be able to go on a family holiday and take both our daughters and have that experience together.
While Sarah has spent the last 4 years learning how to hold things together, life is tough as she desperately tries to give her youngest daughter the very best life possible.
My nerves are shot. I've had moments of thinking and saying that I can't do this anymore. It's too much. Like, why us? We didn't ask for this. But you're put in a situation, we just have to continue to fight for her and for us.
Never cease to be amazed by the power of a parent's love on this show. We have so many wonderful stories, and then once again there, Sarah and Hannah, it's just incredible. And in Sarah's own words there are some things that are out of reach in Hannah's world, but there are some things that could make the biggest difference, and they don't seem like they should be that far away.
Well, Sarah and Kevin, the parents of Hannah, they're battlers. I mean, Sarah got in contact with me and just said, look, I'm putting my pride aside here because I've tried to talk to local council, local communities, anything. I've applied for NDIS funding and I just can't get this money. Please, can you help me try to get a car for our little girl? Not for anything other than to run her to the hospital and take her to the park.
It just feels like it should be so doable.
Yeah, it's like they need $50,000 for a Kia, which is a van that would fit Hannah and her wheelchair and all of her medical equipment as well. They've set up a GoFundMe page that you can donate to. But you know what? If you're a Kia dealer, if you have a car dealership and you can help this beautiful family, get in contact with us. We'll put you on the telly and, you would be helping out a beautiful family who are trying to do the best. You would change their lives.
Definitely. All right. Let's go to a break. We'll see you soon.
Magic lovers and skeptics alike, you are going to want to stick around for this one because Scott Silven is a world-renowned illusionist who's back in Australia to premiere his brand new show, The Lost Things, a spellbinding evening of illusion, storytelling and mentalism. And he joins us now ahead of his run at the Sydney Opera House. Would you please welcome Scott Silven? What inspired this show?
I'm so excited to be with you. You know, it was getting lost as a kid. Who could think about it? The show called The Lost Things. I got lost in a forest near my home in Scotland. And instead of being scared, I had this sense of calm and weird sense of wonder that anything was possible. So I thought, can I take the audience to that sense of space where instead of getting lost being a bad thing, it can be something powerful, leaning into the mystery and unknown in your life. So we have literally built that Scottish forest on stage at the Opera House.
You built a forest?
We built a forest and we've flown it in from the UK as well. And it's here right now. So it's the biggest magic thing I'll do.
We've got trees here.
I know.
Fantastic natives, actually.
Fantastical enough.
So maybe I add a few of those as well. But we're super excited and the audience get the chance to come up to that forest, access their own past, their own memories and experiences, and perhaps go on a bit of a journey with me.
Surely there's more to the show than invite the audience and put them in a forest.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, exactly.
In that case, I've been doing magic for years.
Absolutely. The show really explores the idea of how getting lost in your life can lead to something that you didn't even realise you thought was possible. Because often we think our paths in life are predetermined, don't we? And sometimes just leaning into that sense of mystery, the things that you lose and getting a little lost can change your life.
I'm not going to lie, this makes me a bit terrified. That's what it sounds terrifying.
Are you doing magic on us right now? Like, are you hypnotising us or something?
I have, yeah, as soon as I sat down. Exactly. So would you like to try something together?
Yes.
So, as I said, the show is about the lost things. So, Sam, what I'm going to ask you to do is to think of something that someone may lose that they would be unhappy about losing. So the common ones are car keys or a book or a show ticket. But you think of something right now inside your head and don't say that thing out loud. Just focus on it.
I was going to tell the nation. You don't want me to do that?
Don't tell the nation just yet.
Okay, gotcha.
And Georgie, what I'd like you to do is to focus on something, an object that would take you back to your childhood. So for me on the show The Lost Things, it's the story of an iPod. And you need to come to the show to find out about this iPod.
Yep.
Wow. But you're going to focus on something right now and connect that to a memory in some way.
Okay.
Whatever that thing is, do you have something in mind?
Yeah,
Look at her little brain turning over
I think you mean
Sam.
big, beautiful brain. Thank you.
Well,
You get to do a little math this evening.
No, dude.
You're going to get to... go for it.
Did you not see me on Celebrity Letters and Numbers?
I did. Well. This is why we're going to get you to do this.
Okay,
so,
fantastic.
We're going to start with you. Okay. What age were you when you first experienced this thing, this object or thing that you're focused on?
I would have been like 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yep.
6 or 7. What would you like?
7.
7. Write 7 on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like each of you now...
The number or spell it?
Number 7,
right.
yeah.
Sorry,
We're all judging Sam here, I know. And you can show your audiences if you like as well, Sam.
Oh.
There we go.
Yep.
Beautifully done.
Solid 7.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, wait till you see me spell it. If
Now,
you like
I'd
that.
like each of you to focus on a number in your life that stands out to you, an age. Now, it doesn't have to be a kid age. It's just a moment where maybe things changed in your life and felt exciting. So, Sarah, without thinking about it too much, what age feels right to you?
16.
16. So we have 7, we have 16.
Okay,
Write down number 16. Waleed, what age feels right to you?
12.
Age 12. We're going for younger ages here. Age 12, okay. Sam, what do you think? Any age.
Any age?
Yeah.
Any age. Okay, I'll go 18 when it all kicked
18.
off.
So we have 7, 16, 12, 18. For me, it was 11 years old in the forest. If you want to choose, write down number 11.
Yep, done.
Okay. And one last thing, Georgie, because you chose an age when you were young, 7, choose an age when you're slightly older.
Okay.
Any age. Go for it.
32.
32. That felt right to you, 32.
Yeah.
So we have 7, 16, 12, 18, 11, and 32.
Yeah.
6 ages.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to ask you now,
Okay.
what was the memory that you were focused on? Tell us.
It was my 7th birthday.
Yes.
And I had, or 6 or 7, but I think it was my 7th birthday.
Yes.
And at my birthday party, I wanted a Lamington cake.
You wanted a Lamington cake. That's really
Yeah.
nice. Now, may I ask, have you shared that memory with anyone about the Lamington cake or any of the things in that Lamington
Literally,
cake?
Up about
no one.
Won't shut up about that Lamington cake.
No one.
Yeah.
It had jam in it, no one.
Well, you've noticed sitting beside me this entire time has been a little box.
Yeah.
Stop it.
If this is a Lamington cake, I'm going home.
Sam, do you want to take the box for me, please?
Okay. Do you want
And
me
what I'm going to ask you to do is open up...
We've only got just over a minute left.
Open up the box. Open up the box.
Oh my God.
And as you open up that box, you will see open up all the way. Inside that box is Lamington cake. But you will probably notice that... Have a little look closer in this Lamington cake. There's a little piece of paper sticking out this piece of Lamington tape. Can I ask, what was the lost object that you were focused on? The lost thing. Tell us.
No, it was like a lottery ticket.
A lottery ticket. Do you want to take the lottery ticket out of the Lamington cake? Go for it. Open it up.
Okay.
6 numbers that you chose in this moment. 7, 16, 12, 18, 11, 32.
It's not interesting.
Can you turn that lottery ticket round? We have 11, 32, 7, 12, 16, and 18, the exact numbers that they chose. Well done, my friends. Oh, no! A little strange.
I feel sick. I feel...
We need an old priest and a young priest in here. What? Scope City residency kicks off next week. Tickets are on sale now. Would you please thank Scott City?
I don't know what happened. Ask the chef now. Who knows what tomorrow?